So you know you deserve a 100% VA rating, but you're just unsure how to go about actually getting it. Well, by the end of today's video, you're going to know exactly how. No more confusing and overwhelming process. I'm going to give you a simple 4-step approach to increasing your VA rating to ideally the 100% disability threshold. And make sure you lock in to the end because I'm going to give you a special bonus that applies to nearly all of us. Welcome back. I'm Jordan Anderson, VAClaimsAcademy.com. As you know, I'm a 100% permanent and total rated veteran, so I'm giving you the blueprint exactly how I got there and how to break it down in some easy steps. So let's start out with the order of operation. Just like doing grade school math, you're going to have to do certain things first before the others. This is going to save you so much time, effort, and confusion when you're approaching how the heck I get this increase. And increase is exactly where we're going to start, okay? Whenever you're analyzing your VA disability claim and you know that you need to increase your rating, the first thing that you want to look at is the claims that you're already getting paid for. Why is this? Well, pretty simply because you're already service connected. We're already service connected, and that is a huge leg up. We all know that some of the most denied claims, you're almost always denied when they say service connection. Usually you come in with a diagnosis. Usually, you actually have symptoms. For instance, you have back pain, it's diagnosed. Your back pain affects you on a daily basis. You have doctor's records, they know that, but you still get diagnosed or denied. Why? Because of service connection. So we know that, of course, if you're getting paid by the VA with certain conditions, you're already service connected. That is the place to start, and you can really scoop up some valuable percentages there. For instance, maybe you have migraines service connected, but it's 30%. But you look at the rating criteria and you're saying, you know what? I'm actually in line with that 50% rating threshold. I did something wrong, something went wrong, I should be getting 50%. Or maybe you're at 50% for PTSD. The average is 70%. This is the low-hanging fruit, and 100% of the time it's the place to start because it gets you easy momentum going. Let's head on to number 2. By the way, if you're getting value from this video, do me a favor, hit that like button. Definitely share this with someone who needs it. So next we're going to talk about presumptives. Now, presumptive conditions, presumptive claims, these are things such as the PACT Act conditions, right? We all know that Congress passed a bill, the PACT Act, which acknowledged a lot of your toxic exposures, specifically for Southeast Asia, burn pits, things like this, and their effect on the respiratory system. That's just one thing. We all know as well about Agent Orange, right? So Agent Orange exposure for Vietnam vets, these are presumptive conditions. Do you see why I'm sort of going in order here? We had the things that we were already service connected for first, and then you move to the presumptive sort of automatically approved conditions because you want to go from easiest to hardest. What a lot of veterans do is they'll be sitting there with low-hanging fruit already in their claim, like something screaming easy, like a 30% rating on PTSD. And then they'll come in, try to become a client and start talking about complex secondary claims and, I found this piece of research. Go for the easy stuff first. It could save you effort from spinning your wheels. So number 2, after you've looked at, hey, have I maximized, am I actually rated for what I'm supposed to be already with the conditions that I'm claimed for already? We look at presumptives. Do I have asthma and I was exposed to burn pits? Do I have COPD? Same thing, and I qualify for the PACT Act. These would be the next thing because it's easy, low-hanging fruit. Next, and you're already halfway there. Next, we're going to look at missed claims. So these are actually pretty common. These are conditions that you had diagnosed, documented during your military service. Usually it's more helpful if this service was more recent. So if you were serving in the 70s, serving in the 80s, and you had documented conditions, this would be less powerful. But nonetheless, if you have documented conditions from service, but you just realize that, hey, you know what? I was using a VSO, they were doing my claim for me, and they missed 2 conditions that were clearly documented. Then we would tackle those next. So what do? We're definitely going to want to pull records here. So whether that's in the National Archives or maybe that's at the Veteran Records Processing Center. You're going to want to pull your records if you've been to the doctor during service. If you haven't been to the doctor during service, don't even bother pulling the records, right? There's going to be nothing in them. But if you've been to the doctor during service, pull your records, look at what you have documented, because let's say if there's back pain and you've been to the doctor for it, hey, now it's much easier to draw that service connection because you have a foundation and this was a missed claim. That's our third, and we're going to go to our final place to look. And it's funny because you hear probably a lot, especially, if you've done some research into VA disability, you hear a lot about secondary claims. They're sort of the attractive, fun, claim, but really it's the last place you should be looking to increase. Why? Because they're unreliable. Whenever you have more moving parts, more complexity, more room for humans to disagree and give their opinion, it's going to be less consistent, and that's exactly what happens. So a secondary claim really should be sort of the worst case scenario, your last hurrah, your last Hail Mary attempt. Let me just give you an example. One common one is ringing in the ears causing migraines, migraine-like symptoms. Ringing in the ears could also cause anxiety, can cause depression, things like this. These are clear secondary claims. These are some of the easier ones. Others, you have tinnitus. Some people claim tinnitus causes sleep apnea. These are less, percentage chance at winning. But these secondary claims, yes, are viable, but only after you've exhausted everything else. Pick up the low-hanging fruit first. If for all my football fans, you want to go ahead and run the ball first, weaken the defense, and then you start the passing game, all right? It starts opening up. The secondaries definitely are the passing game. These are Hail Marys. One last reason, and then I'll move on to my bonus here at the end. One last reason that secondary claims are sort of the last case scenario is that you're going to really want a Nexus letter for each secondary claim that you file. Again, for those of you who don't know, a Nexus letter, it's a doctor's note saying that your condition was probably connected to your service. You're going to need that for every single secondary condition. So either one, it's going to be a lot of effort, or two, a lot of cash that you're putting in to getting these Nexus letters. So again, use that sparingly. Now, the final point is this. I'm going to give this to you as a bonus. If you're researching VA claims for sort of the first time recently, and you know that you claimed your claim a couple of years ago, back when you knew less, almost guaranteed you're going to have room for an increase. It's very rare that someone doesn't know what they're doing and then just gets a perfect rating done the first time. It's not an intuitive process. It's really something that you have to actually go out of your way and study to knock it out the park. So if that's you as well, and you stumble across my channel, other channels, then that's another reason that you can go ahead and apply for an increase. Get to know it like the back of your hand, and that could be your first stop. And again, going through this process of lowest hanging fruit to the most difficult is going to preserve your sanity, I promise you. If you've found this video helpful, again, hit the like button and definitely share this with someone who needs it. Cheers.